Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to the Andrew Tate Show, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. We have a great show for you guys today. We're going to be covering Nick Saban's decision to retire. The Commanders could trade up for Caleb Williams, a woman who lost an insurance claim after throwing a tree, and make sure that you stick around for later in the show when we'll be diving into the oddities of the day. Before we start, I'd like to ask that you guys like and follow the show. Also, we get a number of questions from the viewers that come in during the show, so to ensure that your question gets read on the air, I ask that you use the tips and donation link with your question. The tips and donation link is gsmcpodcast.net. This puts your question at the top of the list so that I can see it, and it also just really helps the show.
Look at my girl. You're just rolling it off again. You're used to the new link and everything. Only thing I was going to correct you on is when you said Nick Saban's decision to retire. Sounds like he just retired.
No,
as we
he's
know,
talking about
what's behind his decision to retire.
Behind the scenes of why he retired.
Yes, I agree. All right, so how are you doing? We were talking a little bit about Faith was in there working on her hair and pulling her ponytail up and checking out the bangs and all everything.
Yeah, my bangs, they are a little longer than when I wanted them, and so trying to style them is hard because when I like have a little roller that I put them in the morning. And actually my roller's right here because I was working on the computer and like took it out before we started the show. But like when I unroll them, the bangs are like right here in my eyes, and obviously I can't have hair in my eyes, so I'm gonna have to go back, I think, sometime soon to get them trimmed up shorter to the look that I wanted. But
the bangs I think the bangs are cool. They look good.
Thank you.
They wouldn't work for me or anything, but for you,
no, probably not.
They work, yeah. And then today it was a little chilly out this morning. I got here super early. And so I'm in this giant sweater, so it looks kind of weird.
I think Tate and I are ready for it to be Friday, honestly.
Yeah. No, I got to work this. I'm working this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, too.
Oh, well, I'm ready for it to be Friday.
That doesn't stop the Tate train. I mean,
that's true, yeah.
I'm still going to put in a 14-hour day, even on Saturday and Sunday. Mm-hmm. The difference is I can just go right down the street to the beach, like on my lunch break.
Yeah, must be nice.
All right, so let's dive into all this craziness.
Alrighty, so Nick Saban makes a big admission about the decision to retire. Former Alabama coach Nick Saban has finally admitted what most already knew: the changing landscape of college athletics played a role in his decision to call it a career. Saban stunned the sports world when he announced his retirement days after Alabama lost to Michigan in the college football playoff earlier this winter. He has been openly critical of the impact of the new name, image, and likeness rules have had on college sports, but the 72-year-old insisted at the time that wasn't a significant factor in why he retired. We can now say certainly that it was a factor, even if it wasn't the factor. ESPN Chris Lowe published a story on Wednesday that provided an inside look at some of the things that led to Saban deciding the 2023 season would be his last. One that Saban mentioned was that he felt like his message was no longer resonating with players. He said he was really disappointed in the way Crimson Tide players acted after their 27-20 loss to Michigan. Saban said it became even more clear when he met with players back in Tuscaloosa that it was time for him to walk away. Saban commented, "I thought we could have a hell of a team next year, and then maybe 70 or 80% of the players would talk to. All they want to know is two things. What assurances do I have that I'm going to play because they're thinking about transferring, and how much are you going to pay me? Our program here always built on how much value we can create for your future and your personal development, academic success, and graduating and developing an NFL career on the field." So.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I knew this was an issue because when it was so abrupt that out of nowhere he had decided to retire.
Very abrupt. Yeah.
But there were people that that I went on the record and was saying, like, I just met with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then, 30 minutes later, he was retiring.
Yeah.
And there was people like, oh, he had already scheduled meetings for this, and this, and this, and
Mm-hmm.
then he retired.
Yeah.
And I kind of felt like, to me, it felt like, he sat down with a couple of players, and, it was just kind of like, am I starting? How much cheddar am I getting?
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? And it didn't matter anymore. Growing, Nick Saban's been doing college football for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And players didn't get paid. It was about, okay, how can we develop and get to the NFL,
Mm-hmm.
or, the pride of playing for Alabama. And players were like, listen, the game is over. We lost. I just want to know next year, am I starting, and how much more money am I getting?
Mm-hmm.
If not, I'm transferring out. And I could see how a guy like Saban, who's been used to the system one way,
Mm-hmm.
and then you come back, and this season it's been like, no one cares that we lost to Michigan. We want to know how much,
Yeah.
am I transferring out?
Yeah, I didn't really think about, because obviously when he retired, I was not working on the podcast at the time, so I didn't really know all the stuff about name, image, and likeness and everything like that. So I didn't really think about this being a factor. But I remember when the story was released that he was retiring, he didn't like necessarily comment onto why he was retiring. It was kind of, I don't know. He's
Yeah, it was just kind of like, I'm out. Thank
Yeah,
you. It's
there
been a
was no
great time.
explanation or anything. So now that this has come out, this makes a lot more sense as to why he retired, in my opinion.
Yeah, and it was a good time for him to retire.
Hmm.
Uh, this team, actually, it was kind of one of his best coaching jobs, in my opinion. This was not the greatest Alabama team, but he went through. They started out rough, weathered the storm, righted the ship, beat Georgia, stopped Georgia from three-peating, won the SEC, rolled into the college football playoffs. And, his last year is, yeah, listen, no, I didn't win a national championship, but I won the SEC and was this close from beating a national champion,
Hmm.
and I'm done. It's getting, you know, this is all the stuff we talk about name, image, and likeness, and this whole college football playoffs and all this stuff. The landscape has changed so much that it is just hard to keep track of things. Imagine, you know, you recruit a player and you got to worry all the way up to signing day. Is he really coming? Is he really coming? Is he really coming? Then he gets there and it's kind of like, is he going to stay? Is he going to stay? Is he going to stay? Okay. Now the season starts and it's like, oh, okay. Ooh. And
Yeah.
then imagine you just come off a heartbreaking loss. And as a coach, you're taking these losses hard, and you sit down with your best player and it's like, man, we'll get him next year. And it's like, well, Georgia just offered me 1,000,000 too, and Texas offered me this, and Michigan offered me 3.
Hmm.
I don't know if I'm coming back, coach. What do you mean? You're with us.
Hmm.
No, are you gonna run the offense I want? Am I gonna be featured more in the offense? Are you gonna pay me more than what I got last year? That's a big change. This is the part. Remember, we were talking about one of the guys was hoping for the federal government to step in and kind of do something about this whole worrying about antitrust laws and making it, because right now you talk about changes. This is where some of those changes could come into play, because now instead of it being like it's the wild, wild west, like guys that agree to come, they're going to stay in school, they still have a chance to leave after spring ball. With the current with a new system where they need a commissioner that manages college football, so everyone has a salary cap, everyone gets a fair wage, But that fair wage is, hey, we're bringing you to Alabama, Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, Texas. You got a 4-year contract, or you got a 3-year contract. You're gonna play for Michigan. We're gonna pay you XYZ amount of dollars, and that's it. You're under contract. There's no, hey, I got you. Someone else offered me more money or things like that. Players are under contract, not, hey, midway through it, I'm already thinking about leaving. That stuff starts going around, then it's like, hey, you're in practice and you're like, dude, I'm out of here at the end of this year. At the end of the season, Texas just offered me this. What? Hey, can you talk to Texas too for me? Sure. And it's undermining the college football program. It's undermining what a coach can do in college football. I want the players to get paid. I just want it to be more regulated. Because how do you plan for the future when you don't even know 3 months from now that kid's even going to be here, how committed he is to the program? You know, I may be a Dallas Cowboy fan, but if the San Francisco 49ers said, hey, Tate Cast, we want you to support the 49ers every game, and we're going to give you $4 million a year to do that. Deuces.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jerry, but I got to go to the 49ers. Am I right?
Yeah.
If you're a staunch, you go to University of Georgia or Georgia University, I always get that mixed up, and you're a Georgia Bulldog. But if all of a sudden the University of Alabama or Ole Miss comes in and says, hey, we're going to sponsor the Andrew Tate Show for $5 million, and we want Faith to wear nothing but University of Alabama gear. Let me tell you something.
That's
people,
where
y'all
I draw
can put
the
y'all,
line.
Y'all can put y'all's resume in, because Faith would be cut loose.
That's when I would call up Georgia and let them know what's going on.
Listen,
I can't do that.
It'd be a little hug, a little pat on the shoulder, and then a push out the door.
I can't do that. I was born to be a bulldog. I can't do that.
Whatever. I hit you with that hug and that peace, and you'd be gone.
Yeah.
I'd give a call to your mom and your dad and be like, listen, we're gonna let Faith go, but we're gonna bring the rest of the family in.
Oh my gosh. I don't know if my dad would agree to that either. He's a big Georgia fan as well.
Listen, ask your dad if Alabama offered $4 or $5 million for an endorsement.
It doesn't feel right.
Listen, I'm gonna let you know. Not only would I wear I would slap the Georgia Bulldog as well.
Not Ugga.
Ugga would catch an elbow.
No.
We're talking $4 or $5 million for that's just one endorsement. Listen.
I do understand. I understand what you're saying, though. Yes, but.
Sorry,
could never
folks.
do that.
Peter,
could never do that
don't come
to my
after me because I said I would drop an elbow on a mascot. I am thousands of miles away. That dog is safe from me. Unless Alabama, wink, wink, hit me with that endorsement.
Jeez. I understand what you're saying, though. Yes,
It'd be
I get
Crimson
that.
Tide all day. I have the hat on.
No.
I'd have a hoodie with that on. The logo here.
No.
Crimson Tide glasses.
Nope.
I'd be tricked out like Dion, but way worse with all Alabama gear, depending on how much that endorsement is.
The words "Roll Tide" make me want to vomit.
Oh, listen. I will roll Tide, roll cigarettes, roll whatever you want to roll. Got to give me that proper endorsement deal. We'll roll for the right money. We'll roll Faith on out of here too, since she's not going to wear the gear. You know I couldn't get rid of you, Faith.
I'll just call Georgia and let them know. They probably will offer. Maybe they'll offer more money, and then we can.
I take all that Alabama gear, throw it in the trash, and be like, throwing on my Georgia gear.
Go Dogs, baby.
It was all a joke. I always loved the Dogs first anyway. It all comes down to that endorsement dollars.
No,
right.
I understand though. Like, that kind of feels like a stab in the back. You know, Saban's trying to work hard and build up these players and get them ready for, you know, the NFL, and then they're just kind of like, well, somebody else offered me more money and I know we just lost and sorry for that, but I'm gonna head on out and go somewhere else.
All around the country.
Mm-hmm.
All around the country. One coach, I can't remember what school it was, you know, after the game, they're like, Coach, I won't be coming back. I'm transferring.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. You start for you're wait a minute. Aren't you getting enough playing time? You're starting.
Mm-hmm.
So and so offered me more money, you know, and it's just like one of those things where people are leaving. It's only gonna get worse.
Yeah.
You know, as the college football playoffs is gonna start bringing in more money. Going with the college football playoffs, I think they're making a mistake on one thing when they start thinking about this 14 or 16 team playoff. I don't like that the first round games are played on campus. I think they should make each of the game, first round, second round, all the way through, a different bowl game, because who wants to watch, you know, the Liberty Mutual, you know, dirt bowl? You know what I mean? Between Wichita State and the Cleveland St. Mary's underdogs. Who gonna watch that game when the college football playoffs? Everyone's gonna be gearing up for the college football playoffs. These bowl games are not gonna matter. By making the first round bowl games as well, you could some of these traditional bowls that we're used to seeing could stick around. I don't care about the Pop-Tart Bowl and some of these weird ones, but you know, some of the old traditional bowls, I would love to see them survive. Some of the, you know, like
Peach Bowl,
the Alamo Bowl. The major bowls are going to be around, but like the Alamo Bowl and those guys, they deserve to still be around, because I think they're going to crash and burn. Who's going to, if there's a 16-team playoff, who's going to see Miami of Ohio versus Wichita State? I just made that game up, guys, but yes. You understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, these bowl games are going to struggle. Anyway, I know we went a little over here, so I'll let you do your thing. Also, Mom and Dad, I am not getting rid of Faith. But that endorsement come in.
My mom might support the endorsement. She's a Georgia Tech fan, so.
That's my girl. We don't. If Georgia Tech want to sponsor us, Mom, we're in.
Okay, guys. Well, with that, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be discussing the Washington Commanders could trade up for Caleb Williams. So you guys stick around.